Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the boat gang. I got this this is a new ABC H4 prop that I just picked up. Okay, it's a round ear hydro series propeller. We're going to balance it up in this video. Okay, it's actually a pretty nice looking prop. I've never, well, actually I'll take that back. I've never balanced an ABC round ear. I have several round ear props that I've done, but never an ABC. So we're actually going to get it all prepped up in this video. So stick around. Okay. So the first thing I like to do when I get a prop is just inspect it, visually inspect it, feel it. You know, a lot of times you can feel which blade's thicker before, you know, heavier, thicker before you even throw it on the balancer. This one, the blade is thin all the way around. Like it really don't have a thick root or anything like that. So I'm just kind of checking it out here. This would be my first ABC H series prop I've balanced. Got a mold mark right here. The hub's got some bad marks on it, really bad on this side. So we're gonna need to work all that out. I think it looks worse than what it already is, but just kind of get a general idea and feel of the prop you're working on. Get your tools out. I use a DUBRO balancer. Okay, I use files, needle files, sanding boards. I have sanding foams I don't have out right here. We'll probably use it toward the end, but I use a Dremel as well. Okay, this DUBRO balancer, if you put some graphite powder on these pins right here, it really frees up these wheels right here. Okay, every now and then I actually put my finger right here and I'll actually clean these wheels. I'll just spin them with my finger down there and get any grime off. Okay, let me do that real quick. Okay, so first thing I like to do after I've inspected the propeller, I have a 3/16 file here. Okay, this is all 3/16. This forward part right here, I've actually taken like some 80 grit, put it on my drill, and I've taken this area right here down a couple thousandths of an inch. So this is a couple thou smaller than 3/16, which is back here. What I like to do is I'll run, you see how it just slides in that 3/16 and then it starts to grab about right there. Okay, some props have a real tight bore, so I did that for those particular props. So I basically just run it through there, make sure there's no burrs in there. You know, I usually spin it in reverse of the way it really grabs. You know, don't want to go too crazy doing this. You just want to make sure, especially with this type balancer pin, this cone needs to set perfectly in the bore, you know, so you just kind of knock any burrs that may be off. Okay, the next thing I do, I actually take my file. I'll because this is weight, you know, this is weight, so we're going to go ahead and clean up this drive dog area. You guys see that big chunk of metal right there? That adds weight to the prop. So probably best to go ahead and get a drive dog so you can go back and forth testing it. I just grabbed this one real quick. It's the small one. You guys can see it won't go in. This side here is close, but that side there needs some work. Best way to do it is just use your file, one of these small files, carefully, because you can get this drive dog where it fits the drive dog too loose, you know. Okay, so one really important aspect of this is make sure you wear protection. I actually have a bandana on right now. Hopefully I'm not muffled and you guys can hear me. But beryllium, which is what this prop is made of, is toxic. So make sure you wear PPE. Some guys like to actually work these props with water on them. I don't like doing that. I have tried it. Another thing that you want to look at with these props is the thickness from here to the outside of the hub. Okay, I've noticed with a lot of here lately, a lot of my ABC props, it'll be real thin on this side or thick on that side, and it kind of throws the whole freaking prop out of whack. You know, yeah, it's been actually really common issue here lately. So this is a small drive dog, so there's going to be a gap up top, and it's fine. It's fine. Like this prop hub, the drive dog area here doesn't look all that great out the box. I mean, it's kind of sloppy. Okay, so do that. Get your drive dog ready. I'm gonna go ahead and get mine. I'll cut back in, and then this part right here, just get you like a sanding board or something. If you can use it on the particular prop. Some props, the hub or the tongue hangs down lower than the hub, so make sure you're not like scrubbing the blade when you do this, but get it flat. You want to be able to set it on your table and it not rock back and forth. Okay, just go back and forth a couple times. Make sure it's flat. Also, real quick, look, you can use your drive dog as a reference. Okay, like if you have a hub that's out of whack and you're working the hub trying to get your prop balanced, which by the way, you don't mess with the hub until you're done with the prop. Today we're actually going to mess with the hub right off the bat, kind of clean it up. But you can look, this is perfectly round, this drive dog, so you can use the drive dog if the prop fits tight, and use it as a gauge to get your hub right. Okay, you guys see that little lip? That drive dog will tell you something if you listen to it. You can flip it around the opposite way. Hopefully this goes on. Yeah, it'll flip it around this way, and look at the little lip around the drive dog this way. Okay, on the back side. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the drive dog notch cleaned up and make sure this is all flat. So. Not a whole lot I can do here. See how the prop has an odd shape. I mean, you can't add material, you know. So that's about all I can do to clean up that drive dog. Make sure it just sits flat on the drive dog here, you know, and just make sure that the teeth for the drive dog, you know, make sure it bites good. Not a whole lot I can do. If I do any more, it'll actually be loose fitting. All right. So we'll go ahead and put it on our pin. Let's do this one more time with the file. Do this carefully. Try to go straight in. You know, you don't want to get this hub out of whack. Feels like I got a burr in there somewhere. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay. Put it on our balancer pin. This is probably going to be a long video. Spring, a nice tight fitting washer, and I use these real small silicone tubes for my balancer pin now. They fit nice and tight. Okay, and what we're looking for, listening for, is a heavy blade. Heavy blade will fall low. Okay, so right now this is our heavy blade, so we would want to work this blade right here. This is our light blade. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean up the hub. I mean, if you have a really bad mold mark like that, I kind of recommend go ahead and hit that. So we're gonna mark the heavy blade, the blade with that dot on it. It's falling heavy before we try to knock this stuff off the hub. Okay, so again, want to use a file. You can use a Dremel or whatever. I'm gonna knock that stuff off the hub right there. Okay. Yeah, it looked worse than what it is. You see that? It's just a bunch of flakes, really. I have balancer pins that I use for my props. Haven't been using them lately. I just been working it on my pin. No, if you work it on your pin, you'll wear these cones out. You know, from the vibration and friction, you'll wear them out. So just keep that in mind. So I'm just knocking these little mold marks off. Nothing crazy, just some light work on the hub. So that looks good. Let's go ahead and throw it on there. Now we'll see if this is still the heavy blade, because it could change real quick. Yep, still the heavy blade. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and work this. All right, what I like to do is I start off with a file. I like to use this part. If there is a lot of material that needs to be taken off, I'll use this part right here, you know, and hog some material off. So before I start working on it, let's look at it. Let's visually see what both blades look like, because we got to match them up. Okay, they look pretty good actually. Okay, so I just really work on this part right here, unless I see like a big hump in my prop, you know. Like I said, you can use your Dremel, but I feel like I have more control with my file. You see what I'm doing? I'm using the edge. I use my hand. This finger right here, I drag my file on it, and I use my prop like this to steady everything. A lot of times I put my finger right here on the end of my prop so I don't mess up and the outside of my prop here, the tip. So I don't have my sling on. I should have my sling on for my broken collarbone. Yeah, the front fender on my bike, my foot hit the front fender this weekend and sent me flying, boys. I landed right on my shoulder. About knocked me out. I hit on my shoulder first, then my head hit, and I seen stars, boys. Hadn't seen stars in a long time. About knocked my ass out. Got it flattened out now. Hit that leading edge and then I flatten it out. I can actually use that to see where all my low spots are, high spots on the prop, you know. I usually do the whole blade. I concentrate on the leading edge and the tongue area. I concentrate on all this part. Back here, I just kind of straighten it up. Sometimes some props have a thicker trailing edge than the other blade, you know, so you actually have to thin out the trailing edge, which this prop right here actually looks like that. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see it. Let's see if I can get you in. Okay, so you see the trailing edge right here? See how thick this side is? Now you see how thick this side is. So this part right here actually looks good. The back side of the prop, it looks the same. So you see how thick this is, and now what's missing over here? What's missing out of this? A chunk right here. You can see it right there. A chunk should be filled in. You guys see that? So it looks like there's a little burr on here. That could be throwing me off visually. So let's hit that little burr real quick. Now the trailer, I don't really, if you're new to boating, if you're new to prop balancing, I don't really recommend messing with the trailing edge. You know, I actually have a burr right here. This trailing edge is one of the most important parts of your prop. If you do hit it, make sure you follow the factory edge. Like Jim Schaefer, they put these props, it's a computer program, and they put it through like testing, you know, like they're designed to be like an efficient propeller. So any deviation you do to the back side of the blade or the trailing edge or anything could really screw up the propeller unless you kind of know what you're doing. Now, I've tinkered around with deviating or modifying the back side, and I've really messed up some props, but I've also gotten some props to run really well. Like these guys over here, those are my 120 mile per hour props for my Animal Twin. And I did some back end work, and they're fast props. So I'm just knocking the burr off of that because that kind of threw me off. Okay, so now let's look at it. Okay. So we're really not missing a whole lot right here, just a little bit. Okay, so I didn't really take a lot of material off, but let's just put it on here and see. Because that little burr on the trailing edge, that's weight, you know, that's weight. So we got a ways to go. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and work this leading edge. This is the tip, the tongue, leading edge, trailing edge. Let's go ahead and work it. I want to sharpen it up. You know, that's what you want to do. Sharpen it up. That's your end goal. Thinning the blade, the leading edge, and sharpening this leading edge. That's your end goal. Okay, got some 80 grit here. Oh, it sounds a lot better. So this is the side with the dot. That's our heavy blade. Remember, it fell real hard, like at its lowest position, and now it's starting to lighten up. So we want that heavy blade to be on top next time we balance it. Next time we put it on the pin, I guess I should say. Yeah, this is a real thin blade. Even the trailing edge is thin. So you really need to pick and choose where you take material off of. You know? Because it all has an effect on the way the prop handles. I used to have a real bad tendency for getting the tip too thin, you know, because I run my sandpaper on it like this. You guys see that? So I usually use the edge of my sandpaper so I don't thin out my tip. You guys see that? It's very important. See how I'm contouring it? I don't use like a hard block because you can't contour it and it'll thin that tip out. You see? Okay, so another thing that can really throw you off when you're balancing a prop is the blade size and shape. Like this is our heavy blade. So this blade could be, the actual size of the blade could be bigger than this blade. Okay, so before you pull your hair out trying to match up the weight of the blade, make sure the blade sizes are the same. I've chased a prop before in the past, a long time ago. I chased it, chasing back and forth, and the whole time one of my blades was too big. It just was bigger than the other one, period, like size-wise. So you basically use some modeling clay, get you a good imprint. Take your time with it. Okay, so our heavy blade is now our light blade. You guys see that? That's the heavy blade we started out with. That's our light blade. So now we're going to start working the light blade, which I've been working it as I went back and forth. So this is the profile so far of our original heavy blade, which is now the light. Okay, I'm going to try to match that up. Like I said, I used the edge of that sandpaper so I don't thin out my tip too much. Working that backside, the trailing edge. Basically do the whole prop, at least hit the whole prop, you know, but concentrate on this leading edge right here. Ooh, that sounds good. Okay. So both blades are basically about the same weight. You guys see that? Okay, so that one's heavy. You see how that one fell a little bit lower? This guy right here. Okay, this is the heavy one. So we need to work on that. That's actually the original light blade, so that's good. I'm gonna go ahead and work on it, and I'll cut back in. New props I just finished for the Animal Twin. Come on. Come on. Ooh, they look good too, boy. Let's go. Let's freaking go. So the end goal with your prop is to get your prop to stop anywhere. And like, you see how slow it's falling? Like, oh, it'll stop anywhere right now, but it'll roll to a stop, you know? So we're getting close. So now's the tricky part. Finding the blade that you need to work on when it's stopping basically anywhere, but you know you have a heavy blade. So what I like to do is I'll spin it up and I'll watch it fall. Whichever blade falls fastest in that spin, you know, watch it. Watch it like a hawk. On this side right here. Okay, so that blade over there was our fastest. It would fall quicker. Yeah, you see that? Okay, so we're getting real close, boys. Okay. Okay, so before we get too far, I'm going to use some of this rolled up sandpaper here, and that little mold mark I have right here, I'm going to try to sand that out. Well, might be better off using a file, if possible. Yeah. Don't want to misshape the back of this prop. That's where all the thrust blows off this prop. And if you misshape it, or it's misshaped, it's not going to handle right. Okay, so I'm going to take my sandpaper here, and what I've been doing is I'll just take it and do that number there. Follow the shape of the prop. Okay. That'll give you something to polish up. You know, you're getting past this oxidized beryllium. All right. What I like to do is I'll stop about right here. I'll try to make me a little lip, you know, about right there, so the water breaks off of it. And then I don't go past this. Okay, I stop about right in here. So I kind of create this little indention around the edge of my propeller, almost like it's cupped, you know, like right in there. I'll stop right in there. I'll even take my sander and do what I'm doing right now, kind of define it, but it kind of leaves a little cupped area there. The water holds onto it in the spin. Trying to get that little burr out, man. It's bugging me. It's kind of bad. So anything you do to this blade, you got to match it up on this blade. So getting that burr out on the other side, I'm taking material off right there. I need to take material off of this one, match it up. Okay, and I think I'm going to go ahead and go to some 400 grit here. Yeah, she's close enough. I can go to some 400 grit. Just knock this little bit off here. Clean up this hub a little bit. Hub's not a whole big deal to me. Some guys focus on it, but I don't really mind a little burr here and there on the hub, you know. So she's basically balanced. Now I'm going to start knocking my little scratches off with this 400 grit. Okay, it's on a piece of real thin G10. Okay, so it can be moved and contoured. All right. Alright, well, she's balanced. She's basically balanced. We're going to finish it up with the polishing wheel on the Dremel. Okay, all I use is this guy right here. A lot of times I don't even use a polishing wheel. I'll actually use 1000, and then I'll go to an emery cloth pad. A pad with emery cloth on it. So let's go ahead and go to 1000 real quick before we go to polishing. That's going to help us out. Save us some time on that polishing wheel, because that thing can get messy. I got this one real thin, just rolled over once, you know, so it conforms. And, oh, that looks good. That's looking good, boys. Got a nice sharp leading edge on both of them. Okay. Use this 1000 to get any dull areas that you may have missed with the rough stuff. Oh, look at there. Let's go, boy. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start polishing it. Alright, boys, so I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I got her balanced. Okay, I've been working off camera for about 30-45 minutes with my polishing wheel, and I kind of went back. I was going back and forth. One would fall heavy, one would fall light, you know, and I just kind of go back and forth with the polishing wheel. I'm chasing a perfect balance for the camera. Like, I would run this prop right here. Like, right now, I would run it. But one blade actually wants to fall a little heavy every now and then. But it could be the center line on the pin or something, you know. But, like, it's balanced. It stops anywhere. But it does roll to a stop occasionally, you know. That tells me or tells you that you have a heavy blade. Well, that's what you want. Ultimately, a propeller that stops anywhere, it wants to stop, you know, and it don't favor stopping on one side. You know, if it favored just stopping, like, say, on this side, and every time you spin it, it would only stop on that one side, then that heavy side, the bottom side of your hub, is out of balance. Okay, and that's when you got to work on the hub. Like I said, that's really the last resort, trying to get a prop balanced. And you'll know because it like literally only lands on the one side of the hub. It will never land on the top side, you know. So you have to work on it. So we got it balanced. I'm gonna show it to you before I let you go. I got it polished. Typically don't do the polishing like I mentioned earlier. For the sake of the video, I did it, you know. Backside, I don't mind a little roughness on this backside. I really don't, man, because that's what water's pushing and breaking off of. So, you know, it breaks the surface tension, you know, and it don't want to stick to the prop quite as bad. My opinion, you know. Like I like just using emery cloth. Normally I don't polish my props, you know. Every now and then I'll polish them, and then I'll run them a couple times, and they'll get tarnished and dull like this. And that's kind of like, I like this finish right here. After I've run them a few times, the shininess is wore off and it's starting to tarnish. That's the fastest props in my opinion. The ones that start to tarnish, you know. So we'll see you next time. I know it was a long video, but this stuff, it takes a while. It's not like one hitter quitter, you know, you're done in 10 minutes. I worked all evening on this prop. All evening. Literally like 4 hours dead ahead tonight. Just boom, 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 done. Like I worked on this prop right here for about 4 or 5 days. This is one of my subscribers' props that I did for them. And it took me a while to do, because I wanted it to be good. I did some work on the back side here, so it's a fast prop, M447. But I kind of whipped this one out tonight, you know. I'm kind of dreading my wings. I'm kind of dreading doing the carbon fiber. So I was like, I'm going to do a prop tonight, and then tomorrow I'll do the carbon fiber. So we'll see you next time. I'm actually really interested in how this thing performs. I've never done a H series, so it was kind of a learning process, but I treated it like no other, you know, just prepped it up like I do all my props. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.